Hello, welcome. So Monday again, it is series number 2, part 2 in my series of talks, 4-part series. I hope you're going to enjoy this. So last week we looked at what your goals were. This week we're looking at investment area, your gold mine area. Investment area, your gold mine area. Where is it? How do you find out? And where should you be investing? And this is great questions that you're asking. Look, there are some myths about this where people talk about this and they really don't know. You know, a lot of people just say, go up north because it's the best way, it's cheap and everything. Look, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I don't want to take too long over this, but you need to ask yourself a few questions first of all. And this way is going to help you understand even before you even start searching. And by answering these questions, you're going to know what you're looking for. Because let's take a gold mine area. What is a gold mine area? Well, a gold mine area will be very much on the specific type of property that you want. I might take you and say, look, this is a fantastic gold mine area for HMOs. And you're saying, but Trevor, I don't want an HMO. I want a service accommodation. Well, let's not go there. Let's go somewhere else. Do you see? So the gold mine area is just thrown away as a great little phrase. But what does it actually mean? Because if you are wanting a type of property, whether a single let, multi-let, service accommodation, you want rent to rent, all these different types of things, you want options. What is it that you want? You know, do you want to build houses? Do you want to convert houses into flats? Do you want to build flats? All these things. So we've got to start at the very beginning. And the first question, and this is for you to determine where your gold mine area is what do you want? Do you want a house or a flat? So you ask yourself. So let's just start to put this down. So I'm going to say house. Okay. So the next question is how many bedrooms? And you should be doing this right now. Okay. You should be doing this right now. So let's say 2-bed. Okay, why 2-bed? Well, I'll come to that in a second because it's very similar to what I did recently and I'll show you this one, all right? So what do I want? Do I want to do multi-let or do I want to do single-let or do I want to do service accommodation? You ask yourself that question. But for me, to start, I like my single-lets, all right? Single-lets. If you can refurb them, etc., you can pull most of your money out. I know the time's a bit different now, but we're going to go into all these sorts of things. So single let. Do I want it in good condition, bad condition? I want bad condition. All right? Because that's where I can make more money. I really can. Okay? So that's really, really important. Now then, how much do I want to pay for it? There's your key question. All right, so this depends what you've got, whether it's a rent to rent, even that. Ask yourself, how much rent do I want to pay on a monthly basis? Are you happy to pay £2,000 a month? If you are, then that's fine. You're going to be more London based or wherever. You're going to be more central in the city. If it's £500 you want to pay, fine. We can move out and we can find that area where they're £500. Can you see what I'm doing now? This is determining what you want and dispelling these myths of watching people saying, listen, the gold mine area is here. It's Woolwich. Woolwich is a fantastic place to invest because it's on the up. Actually, a little bit late now. If you'd gone when I was talking about Woolwich about 4 or 5 years ago, you would have made a fortune. Okay, so let's just look at this. So, you know, how much do you want to pay? And that is the number one thing, okay? So if you ask yourself these questions, now you've got an understanding. So look, this one, I want a house, 2-bed, single let is what I want to use it for. Bad condition so I can do it up. How much do I want to pay? I don't mind. It depends the area. If we're doing something in Cambridge, it's going to be somewhere probably around £400,000 to £600,000, something like that. If we want something in Lincoln, probably looking around about 120, something like that, and then hopefully get a discount, add value and add on. It just depends what you want to do. Okay, so look, that's the first thing. Okay, that's the very first thing. The next thing is, how far should you be? So look, that's really important things. But wherever you live, the optimum is to be within a 10-mile radius. All right, so that would come around there, 10 miles. Now, I understand if you're in London, that doesn't really make a lot of sense, because you're saying, well, Trevor, I live within the M25, I've got to go outside the M25. Great, okay. Now, a lot will come down to this, what your budget is. But let me give you a scenario. Let's suppose that your budget is not huge, but you find a property that you need £300,000 because you found an incredible investment that it's going to double that money within a short period of time, let's say 6 months, 12 months, and you don't have it. I promise you, if you've actually found that, you'll find the money. All right, a lot of people say, I've got to find the money, got to find the money. No, find the property, find the deal, and then if it's really, really good, you'll find the money, I promise you, because motivation gets there. But within 10-mile radius, why? It's because you can build on your area and you're not spending hours and hours. I know a lot of people in London. I'm from London. I have mentees are from London, and yes, they do travel because they've got a very specific goal that they want to achieve. But they're going to Liverpool, they're going to Manchester, Birmingham. Some of them even go to Newcastle. Crazy, but you know that, what is that? 4.5 hours on the train, and then coming back as well and staying overnight. And you've got to look: is it worth it? Isn't it? If you're doing 5 or 6 properties in one go up there, okay. Why not? If you're just doing one small single let, you have to now, you know, weigh up, am I actually going to make money from this? So these are the sort of things that you need to start asking yourself these questions. But let's just get rid of a couple of things as well, which are really important. So some of you, I know, are saying right now, Trevor, there's nothing within 10 miles of where I live. Really? Okay. Let's dispel that little, you know, false mindset. And actually, that's an important thing. And probably one of the most important things in the Goldmine area is to dispel and destroy a limiting belief in my and your mind, okay? So you might live wherever you live and say, Trevor, there is no Goldmine area within 10 miles of where I live. Actually, that's a lie. It is. And we should not believe that. And so why? Let's look at the reasons why. Why do people want to sell their house? Why? And this is a difficult time, but let's look why. One, look, I would always say, up until now, I would always say that relocation was number one. Now, obviously, it's a little bit different now, and it's not so relevant. It may well be. People might have to, go back and live with parents or go back to the country where they came from, whatever, and they're going to give up property because they perceive that the values have dropped. I think it's going to catch up again. But relocation. So if somebody are trying to sell and they're under time constraint, they may well want to get rid of it fairly quickly. So there's an opportunity. Another one, which is really, really sad, but because of where we found ourselves, is separation. All right? So whether that's divorce or just breaking up, it's a very sad thing, but now people are starting to break up, whether domestic violence, divorce, whatever. But there's a lot of chatter about this. It's very, very sad, but marital homes will be going and they will come on the market. And again, there will be opportunity because of people wanting to dispose of that fairly quickly because they're emotionally involved and they want to get rid. Okay. Next one, let's see. That we always will have these, always, but we will have down and upsizing. So what does that mean? That means when downsizing, it's funny because I've got 4 children and it seems that, you know, my 3 sons have gone away and now we have a bigger house than we've ever had before. And we have 1 daughter at home. But so normally when the family starts to shrink, you go down and get a smaller house. My wife, she likes the space and that's it. But majority of people will downsize. And then when you're growing your family, so when you've got 1 child, then 2, then 3, then 4, you need to upsize. So again, there's this constant revolving of doors where people are selling and buying houses. And again, when people are stuck and in this time, they're going to want to be able to get moving quickly. And that is another opportunity to find something which works for you. Can you see in your area, there will be opportunity. There is Goldmine everywhere. Whether you're buying it, whether you're using options, whether you want to do a rent to rent, there's opportunity. All you've got to do is put yourself in the way and have a strong marketing campaign to get there. All right. Another one is, it's quite sad, but especially during this time now, people will be in debt. And debt is a horrible thing. It is. Even the word mortgage means death grip. Mortgage, it means death grip. But where people are in debt and they can't pay their mortgage, listen, contact me, because if you get there, there's a potential that you can help them. I've been to court many times and I've helped to stop the repossession of a house and to get an option on there. So they can't stay there, they'll have to move out. But in a scenario where they could lose everything, by doing an option properly, not only will you stop them going potentially bankrupt, depending on their finances, but also you can actually factor in a profit for them later on down the line, whether it's 2 or 3 years, which they would never get if you weren't positioned to help them in that time. That's a great thing. It is. But, so debt is another one. And another one which is... some people are worried about tax. All right, tax. So where a lot of older generation, my sort of older than me, the people I play golf with, where they bought properties in their personal names many years ago, and they may still have lending on it, they now come under what's called Section 24, so they're having to pay more tax. This year is when it's coming to its fullest. 100% of the mortgage interest is counted as income. They won't like that. They're trying to unload, and if they're trying to unload, they understand that capital gains taxes will hit them quite hard, and some of them are happy to take a hit. Now, there's a whole nother thing which I don't want to go into here. I do that on my training, but of how to do options on a portfolio to benefit the landlords in tax. Now, if you're interested in my training, drop me an email and we can send you some information about it. Online training now on buy, refurb, refinance and on purchase lease options. Another one, and this is really sad that I say this, but it's not because of COVID, but it's because we have this just going on in society at a great rate anyway. There's a lot of births which are taking place on a daily thing, but now we have a lot of, I wouldn't say an increased number, because we will constantly have people dying, but probate. And where people want to sell those probate properties. And remember, this period of time has thinned out investors, I can tell you now. A lot of investors have not been able to keep their head above water, whether it's debt upsizing, any of these can hinder them. And so where probate comes and people just want to get that money, there is potential to do something very powerful. So let's take London, and there's a probate. Now normally it's a work if there's 1 or 2 beneficiaries, but let's say that it's a £2 million property, and normally you would say, well, that's not in my Goldmine area, that's it. But think about this, it's in bad condition. It needs £100,000 to renovate it, to tidy it up, and so it would sell maybe at 2.3, something like that. You could find that money, you could take the option, you could add the value, sell it, and you could double your money and give an extra £100,000. That is a very key thing. And so all of a sudden, what we're doing is that we are expanding that Goldmine area. Now, depending on the strategy that you're using, and hopefully you'll see this. If this is, I was always showing this, if this is America and this is the Bronx, okay, the Bronx, so the worst place, and look, my advice is, please, I don't know who's teaching you're following, but do not go and buy the cheapest. If you buy the cheapest, you're buying trouble and you will have problems, I guarantee it, all right? And some of those, which brings me on to a good point actually, another reason why people want to sell is that they have tenant issues. Tenant issues. So they can have really bad tenants, and you can pick this up. You would take it on option, resolve the problems, probably get rid of the tenants or make sure that they're paying, and then you can take over and buy it or even sell it. But Bronx, the worst place to live, high crime, not cheap properties. But you know, a lot of people are taught, oh yeah, buy there and you'll get great return on investment. You've got to think it's not always about return on investment. It's about peace of mind. It's about having longevity without having problems. That's what we want. So normally you are told to invest between here and here. And if that's London, you're probably going to be looking at somewhere between 2 to 3% return on investment. And if you went up somewhere a bit further north on a single let, again, you're probably looking at somewhere between 12 and 13% on a single let, all right, return on investment. However, all of this up here, and if we were to say, you know, this is Manhattan up here, you would say with millions of pounds worth of property, you'd say, do you know what, I could never invest there. All of a sudden, this is your area. This is where, if you've got the right marketing, you can be there. Now, if you want to go back and come back into going further afield to Liverpool, etc., from London or wherever it's going to be, that's fine. But you've got to be looking at multiple properties, not one. And just do a calculation. Work out how many times have I got to travel, how much time, and put a monetary value on your time. How much travel, that is a monetary thing, staying overnight. All of these, put this into a spreadsheet and see. So should I be going all the way up north because they're cheaper, but spending all that time and resources on it? Or could I come closer and invest all that time and money into something which is closer? So look, this is another short video for you. It's there to help you, to give you advice on how to find your gold mine area. Ask those questions. Start to break down any limiting beliefs that you are not in a gold mine area because you are missing opportunities. Please leave a comment, share this video, and I really would like to get some feedback. If you want to know more about our training, we've got some great online training, and I've been working on these last month on another program which I'm going to be releasing online. But if you're interested in any of our training on rent to service accommodation, please drop me an email and we will send you information. I wish you all the best in this time, and stay safe as we start to come back into society, and God bless you. Bye-bye.